Welcome back to the Pop of the Man podcast. I'm your host Jay. With me today, I have my always loyal co-host Cord. What's up, Cord?
How you been? How you been? Chaos is a ladder. Feel like I've been gone for 50 years, but I'm back like I never left.
Glad to have you back, Cord. Got my right hand man DeLon with us today, the Mississippi Maniac. What's up?
How you doing, Mississippi Maniac, Minnesota Miracle? Well, first note, serious note. Shout out to DMX, currently in a serious condition. Won't go much further because don't know how this news is gonna turn out. But on a very less serious note, shout out to Paul Pierce, man. I don't know if y'all saw it, but Paul Pierce is on IG Live getting litty. Man, probably the best thing that's come from Paul Pierce in about carry the 12 years. So yeah, shout out to Paul Pierce, man.
Paul Pierce, unfortunately, since his fiasco happened late last night at 3 a.m. in the morning, he didn't make the cut for the topics today. But shout out to the KU legend. Like DeLon said, he has not done anything positive, noteworthy. Like he's said noteworthy things that have straightened up people talking about him and bashing them and stuff. But this is probably like the first time anybody in the Twitter realm was like, "Hell yeah, Paul Pierce! Hell yeah!"
He's just trying to be the people's champ once again. He's just trying to be the people's champ.
And this has done it for him.
This is a step in the right direction. But you know what we do, guys. We give you our takes on basketball, music, and everything in between. This is episode, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. This is episode 129 of the Pop of the Man podcast. Yeah, we've been climbing them ranks. Only announcements we have is make sure you follow us on Twitter at PodcastTheMan. Shoot us a DM, shoot us an @ I mentioned. Let us know what you think about the show. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We greatly appreciate all you guys' efforts. This is going to be a bit of a sport heavy episode. We got some music topics in the beginning. We're going to probably tail off towards the end, and we're going to probably talk about a couple of sports stuff. Because a lot of things have happened in the NBA and even in the NFL since the last time we had the episode, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. Music continues to be slow. We haven't had any real music releases. I thought Drake were released by now. I thought some other big names were released by now. But a big name amongst us, a guy we really love, did release an album this month. We're going to start with that. The Plugs I Met Too, released on March 17th by Benny the Butcher, featuring French Montana, Jim Jones, produced by Harry Fraud. I'm drawing a blank on all the other features that was on there. DeLon, help me out.
Dude, Jim, Fat Joe, Jim, I don't know. I don't know.
The features weren't that memorable. They were straight. They served their purpose. They got us from the beginning of the song to the end of the song. But the point of the matter is, the Plugs I Met Too are in the streets, guys. How do you guys feel about the project?
It ain't better than one. I mean, if I keep it a rag with you, like I mean, don't get me wrong. Like it's cool. I listen to it, but I ain't like just really get into it. Like remember when Plugs one drop and I just listen to it over and over and over. Yeah.
DeLon, you're uncharacteristically quiet on the topic of Benny the Butcher. What's up, man? I feel like you're holding something back.
No, I mean I just wanted to let Cora talk first, man. You know, it couldn't. I don't know if it could have lived up to the expectations of the iconic The Plugs I Met, the original. The features weren't as what's the word? Crucial. The features weren't as crucial. Like Pusha T on 18 wheels.
Black Thought.
That's an unmatched Black Thought, and even the local or the more local guys, 38 Special, like all that, like everyone on Plugs I Met one really showed up and performed. Probably the best performance I've heard from any of them in a minute. And not to say that those verses on Plugs I Met Two weren't good. I really enjoyed that Fat Joe verse. That made my playlist of 2021 songs. That beat goes crazy. I just need Fat Joe to stop saying nigga. Listen, I really enjoyed the project. It's just I think I had a misinterpretation of what the Plugs I Met was. I thought it was going to be no hooks. We're just rapping. We're going to see who's a better rapper. Wasn't quite that, but still happy with what I got. It's definitely grown on me a lot more. I will say I do love the project.
I enjoyed the project off the first listen. Off the rip, I said this is a Harry Fraud and Benny did their thing. I a lot of people say they ain't that high on it, but I thought across the project Benny rapped well. I don't think you'll find a verse on. I don't think you'll find a verse on here that you think like, Benny, I ain't feeling this. I thought he rapped well across all. Was it like 9, 10? It's 9 songs. It's all across all 9 songs. I think Harry Fraud production brought an interesting dynamic that we don't really hear from Benny music. A lot of Benny's production isn't let's see, melodic. A lot of it isn't a better word. A lot of it's like very dirty, dark, grimy, gritty, vicious. Like while Harry Fraud usually has like a lighter tone to his sounds. And despite that, I felt like that was an interesting mix hearing those two styles clash, and I didn't feel like it didn't feel out of place to me. I notoriously, well, not notoriously, because a lot of people don't know my take on this, but I was not crazy about Benny the Butcher's debut album. Remind me what the name of it is.
Burden of Proof.
Burden of Proof.
Okay.
Burden of Proof. I was not a fan of Burden of Proof with Hit Boy, and I thought my biggest complaint was, I don't know, it just felt like Benny just did not feel at home on those beats. Like not so like I feel like I'm like a lot of people feel like they hate when rappers change. I don't even hate when rappers change, but I will say that shift on Burden of Proof just did not feel natural. Benny just felt out of place on those beats. I wasn't really wowed by any of his verses, any of his lines, compared to the Plugs I Met 2, where I'm like, okay, Benny's rapping well. I'm like, ooh, Benny got me like my face frowning up. Like, ooh, I'm digging it. But at the same time, I wouldn't put none of these verses as his best verses or anything in that vicinity. And like you said, you thought like the Plugs I Met series was gonna be people saying, hey, let's just flex to see who the best rapper. There was a lot of verses on the Plugs I Met 1 where I was like, did Benny have the best verse? But he was still rap really well, but he had competition. On this album, it was just him. He was the star from beginning to end, and nobody else really shone. That's why I struggle to remember who all the guest features were. So
it felt like a bunch of alley-oops. I'm not gonna lie. It felt like a bunch of alley-oops. It felt like he set up Fat Joe for a verse.
Yeah.
Which it was still a great verse, but it is what it is. And Burden of Proof, that felt a little bit more like homage to early 2000s New York. But I will say this album, even Burden of Proof, I still felt it there. It feels like Benny's definitely growing as an artist. Old dog, new tricks. That man is 36, still trying to expand his sound. So you really have to appreciate that, because a lot of people get in the game, and they get pretty stagnant at that age. Granted, his years in rapping are a lot younger than a lot of other people's. But I'm glad that he's not sticking to the same sound years later like some other people that he may rap with do.
Yeah, and like I think that's like a main gripe a lot of people make about Griselda. Like they make the same kind of music over and over again. It's very repetitive. But like he's like you said, like on this album he has some pretty good hooks, and that's one of the things that Griselda isn't really known for is having good hooks and great hooks on their songs. And I feel like these hooks were all solid to good. I thought they were.
But at the same time, like if I'm going to listen to Benny, I ain't really going for hooks.
True, but like if Benny wants to become like a bigger artist, like which I know he does, doing a album with Hit Boy as his debut album. Like he seems to have aspirations of wanting to be regarded as the best rapper. And to be honest with you, if you earnestly want that title, you kind of got to be a guy. Your songs got to have the great verses and the great hooks, like songs that people are going to play because they enjoy hearing it. You got to be able to be kind of like, a jack of all trades, word to Drake. That's why his name has always been in that conversation, despite how you might feel about him being lacking in any other way, in any area. And I think that's what Benny wants to do. He wants to expand. And that's why you see him doing that more than Conway, and you see him doing that more than even Westside.
Salute to Westside.
Yes, that Westside gonna stick to his guns until he's done, which should be
that's soon. Why we love him.
Should have been already, to be honest with you.
Don't do that.
No, he said 2020 is his last year rapping.
Yeah,
that's why I said that.
Yeah, that's why I said that too.
Every New York rapper say they gonna retire, but they don't retire. Come on now.
Except Joe Budden.
Man, yeah, right.
Listen, man, most Def coming out of retirement, man. Anything's possible.
I forgot about that, man. Is it a confirmed? Is it a Black Star album, or did he say it was a solo album? I forgot.
I hope it's a solo album.
I do too.
Yeah. I was about to say, hey man, because Talib looking a little.
I don't want to hear what he would talk about.
Hey man, he looking a little funny out here lately. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah.
So Plugs and Met 2, it seems like all of us like it. Just wasn't what we expected, or not even just what we expected, but we thought it could have been better. So shout out to Benny though, because he hasn't seen to be slowing down. Excited to see what exactly he puts energy into next, because he seems to be coming up with something new. So just for the month, we're in the month of April now, month of March. What were you guys listening to? What impressed you? What disappointed you?
And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I've been going back listening to Brunson all over again. You know, I always have to go through my every 2-3 months. I gotta go back and check out every mixtape I ain't heard in a minute, every album. And the only album that I regret that he made was Blue Chip 7000.
You didn't like it?
Nah, man. See, one that is just the fact that you can't have Blue Chips without Party Supplies.
Yeah. That's fun. It's fun. It's like the first time like I actually like checked out an Action Bronson album when it released. Like I was like, oh, Corey said Action Bronson releasing an album. I'm gonna check it out the day it drops.
Yeah.
I actually liked it.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just like, what can I compare it to? Like when you got a mixtape series with a certain producer and then you just change that out of nowhere, all the hardcore fans gonna look at you a little funny.
Facts. And even I would say, come from it as a person who did not hear the other Blue parties because I was late to the party, no pun intended. I liked it, but then didn't nothing really stick to me. Yeah. So like even though it's on my phone right now, like it's in my library, I don't just really go back and revisit it or search for a particular song or a particular verse. Like it's cool. It's a cool project. What else you been listening to? Anything else?
I've been listening. I'm still listening to Cardi. Been listening to a lot of Moses Sumney. Salute to him, the king of HBO right now. His song on every TV show they got for some reason. So salute to him. What else I've been listening to?
Corey, did you see that video of they stripped Cardi of all his like background noise?
I did. Salute to the engineers. God bless the engineers.
Yeah, the engineers are y'all favorite rapper, not Cardi. But
I don't know what that clip was.
It was him. That's what it was.
The truth.
Yeah, the truth.
Now, Court. Now, don't forget about some other things you told me about you loving. Doja Cat's newest demo.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot. Okay, Jordan. I gotta tell you, Doja Cat. I am welcoming Doja Cat with open arms. I have seen the light, and I understand what the line is talking about. She is the second coming of Azalea Banks. I'm calling her Azalea Banks with a budget and a filter. I heard Trash Man, and I've been bumping it every day. It's my new pistols. I ain't gonna hold you. The way I love pistols and poop the scoop, I love Trash Man.
You know, I just when you said that, I just hearkened back to that time that guy added us on Twitter and said, I hate listening to these country niggas talk because they sound funny. The way Core said poopy scoop, I'm like, yeah, I get what niggas say. Yeah, poopy scoop. But also, Core, do not forget, you are literally the only person who's listened to this song, YB and Namir, his track.
I heard it.
I told myself I was going to listen to it this morning. Okay, Corey, does it really deserve like having that many dislikes to likes ratio? Does it deserve the ratio that it got on YouTube?
The beat sound like it could have been on one of them internet college commercials that came on at 12:30 in 2006. That's what the beat sound like. And Namir is on the song like, yeah, I gotta make sure my mama. No, bro, you and your mama is not finna be straight. Y'all is not making it out the hood, but you singing like this. That song terrible, fam. Do not listen to Soul Train to Odyssey tonight. Don't listen to it at all.
Also, I think it's hilarious that Cord is like, yeah, I finally see it. Doja Cat's the second coming of Azalea Banks, and then Dale be on the podcast and be like, yeah, I finally see it. Doja Cat the second coming of Nicki Minaj.
Hey, Doja Cat's bad.
Wait, he said she the second coming of who?
Well, he more so says that that's her son. That's Nicki's son.
Okay.
That's Nicki's.
I can see that. I can see that.
They share some similarities. But DeLon, what have you been listening to? What have you been listening to this month?
Man, so we know the month of March was highlighted by Scary Hours 2. Of course that got plays. I'm making a conscious effort to keep a playlist this year, unlike every other year where I try to throw one together at the end. Trying to make the bar a little bit higher on what goes in there. Loyal Bros, Dirk and Co. That's the first time I've really liked and listened to a Dirk project in a very, very, very long time. Really enjoyed it. Justin Bieber dropped a new album. 2 songs off that album, Big Heat.
Just two.
2 songs.
I
Big
hope you
heat.
ain't talking about Peaches.
A lot of the rest of them are moderate heat.
I hope you ain't
Okay,
talking about Peaches.
Oh, of course I'm talking about Peaches. Come on now. Come on. Cord.
That's on that heat. I'm sorry.
Cord. Well, I mean,
sorry.
you listen to YB and not me, so it's okay.
Hey man, I ain't had no choice.
Stop it. But then also, Duke Deuce put out a great project at the end of I think at the end of February. But that's about it for that one.
Dude's drop.
A whole album, Cord. A whole album.
Nobody told me nothing.
You know, you got too many hype beasts in our group, man. Their ears don't be to the streets unless somebody else talk about it. Let's see. I really have not been listening to too much of anything new. You know, I've been listening. I don't know what it is. I've been listening to instrumentals for a while now. I've been listening to a lot of Knowledge. Listening to K Tronada. I've been listening to a lot
Grammy winner K Tronada.
Grammy winner K Tronada, Thundercat. Like I've been listening to a lot of that. Forgot the name of that album that Thundercat had, which had the Thundercat symbol.
It is what it is.
No, not that
one. Talking about the old one.
No, yeah, it's one that came out recently. What's the name of that stuff? It was him and the Free Nationals. I've been listening to that as well.
Okay.
I listen to Saba's 2 singles. I like them. Like them a lot. They're really good. It looks like he's gearing up for another project. I'm excited. See what direction he goes in next. What else have I been listening to? Yeah, I've been listening to that. I've been listening to Mavi. Been going back and re-listening to his music.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah, I revisited End of Earth. I'm not really crazy about it, but like I enjoy it. It's cool. Also, Leave the Door Open.
Of course. I think everybody listening to it.
It lived up. I didn't see this collaboration coming, but it seemed so perfect, and then at the same time, it's like I didn't have no expectations. Like I didn't know what the music would sound like, and then getting it, I'm like, oh, this is exactly what it should sound like. Like
exactly.
I'm so excited for the album. I hope it's near.
Question for both of you.
What's up?
You get to pick one feature on that album. Who you picking?
To be on there?
Yeah, to be on there. To be on there.
Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak, and
Boosie Collins he's already a part of the album, and he'd been perfect for it. Now I think George Clinton is too much funk. I think that's a little too. I think that's a little too much. Let me go.
What about might be Slime the Family Stone? Might.
Who?
Might Slime the Family Stone? I
mean, a crazy sample.
If he digging that far back into the vault, they got to be a part of it somewhere.
Be honest with you, Delon, I don't have an answer for that, and I kind of don't want to see a whole bunch of features on his album. I kind of just want to see Hear Them Too. Like I know as a cop answer, I actually kind of don't like it when R&B singers have a lot of features or even features on the albums. I don't know what it is. Like I usually enjoy hearing just that artist if I like that R&B artist. So I can't really think. I'm searching. I'm like, nah, I got nothing.
They about to pull a Otis Redding sample out of the vault. We about to hear Otis verse we ain't never heard before.
Shit gonna be heat though. It's gonna be heat. And like I said, like I can like stuff like that. Like I would thoroughly enjoy, but like I don't really want to hear no rappers on this. I don't want to hear no rappers.
You don't want to hear that Bryson Tiller feature?
I don't want to hear that shit. And like I said, like a lot of the bigger R&B names I can think off the top of my head, like that. They ain't.
Well, the Kendrick slip in there.
Nah, I kind of don't want to hear that. I don't.
Man.
You say Kendrick?
Yeah, I kind of don't. I want that nigga. I don't want nothing from him unless it's the album. I don't want to hear it.
I feel you.
I don't. I'm really looking through my library. There's nobody I just really would want to hear on this album. No, I'm good. It's just them boys. Bruno, give me Bruno and Anderson .Paak for 12 straight songs. That's all I need. Perfection. But all right. Yeah, other than that, I don't think I've been listening to anything else. Baby Keem released a single earlier this month. I listened to it. Hadn't really revisited it at all since I heard it. I think Currency released an album. I think the album came out in March. Or maybe I think Cardo and I think Payroll Giovanni and Currency both released in February. So yeah,
Y'all gonna stop talking to me about Currency and Dom Kennedy. One day y'all gonna stop talking to me about Currency and Dom Kennedy.
Hey, it don't matter what's going on. They dropping an album.
They dropping a goddamn something.
An album.
I ain't never been crazy about Dom.
Wait. I'm bugging. Def Grips dropped a 28-minute song. I just thought about that. I ain't finished it. I was like 8 minutes in. I gotta finish it.
He dropped a 28-minute what? Album?
28-minute song.
Oh, a song. They dropped a 28-minute song.
Yeah.
Does that count as an album?
Yeah. In my mind. In my mind.
It's been like 2 years or so. It's better than nothing.
It's just a 28-minute song is just more annoying than a 28-minute album because you can't, the beat switches aren't listed on the song, so you can't.
But Alexa's gonna have trouble with that.
Yeah.
That's all you know.
Play minute 6 of that new Def Grip song.
The fourth beat.
Def Grip's gonna do what they want, fam.
Yeah, that's on brand for them.
Yeah.
All right, so let's spice it up a little bit. Let's move on to basketball. This past couple of weeks have been pretty frantic. The NBA trade deadline has passed. We didn't get a chance to talk about some of the bigger moves, but it's been more of the story of this. Even though this is a historic deadline, I think more trades happen this deadline than any deadline ever. I think that's what Woj said. But despite the trades happening, it wasn't the trades that caused a lot of people an uproar. It was more so the buyout market. LaMarcus Aldridge at 35 got bought out by the San Antonio Spurs, and he chose the New York Knicks. Blake Griffin got bought out by the Pistons, and he chose. Oh wait, I said New York Knicks.
Yeah,
I was confused.
Not the Knicks.
They got enough power forwards.
Yeah, right. They wouldn't been mad though. I'm pretty sure the Knicks called them when they heard both of these guys got bought out. But basically, Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge both got bought out, and they chose the Nets. Andre Drummond got bought out, and he chose the Los Angeles Lakers. And a lot of teams, it seems like teams around the league are a little upset that these larger market teams are just getting these stars, and they're very upset about the fact that they're like, oh, the buyout market is creating a disparity where you have these guys. Basically, you have these guys who are still serviceable and good going to these contenders and beefing up the larger market teams. And that hurts teams like Utah, who might could have used them guys, but they can't draw them in because they're a smaller market team and they, in Utah. Mm-hmm. So, guys, do you see this buyout market frenzy as a real problem that needs to be addressed? Or do you think people around the league are just overreacting to Blake Griffin, who couldn't dunk a couple of weeks ago for signing to the Nets?
I think this is one of those things that you can't really put you can't hate on it too much because, player freedom, it's, they got their bag, it's what was allowed, they signed for the minimum, all that kind of stuff. But it definitely will, it's definitely one of those slippery slope type deals. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Cole, what do you think?
I don't have a problem with it. I'm an American. I'm a supporter of free market and values, and people should be able to do what they want.
Publican.
My only issue is I feel like it's an agenda being pushed.
Okay.
The Brooklyn Nets have done what every other team that has won championships have done. I don't see the issue. When LeBron did it, people was upset, but when he won, we didn't care. The Warriors did it, we were upset, and when we won, they didn't care. If the Nets do this and they win, we won't care in the future. When Blake Griffin was in Detroit, everybody ignored him. They talked down on him. They said he was a nobody, even though he was putting up numbers. And when we was talking about this a month or some change ago, Jaquez said, Cole, I think Blake a non-factor. I said, Blake can still dunk and Blake can still play. But when they told him they weren't buying him out in the beginning of the season, he said he was going to make sure they got him up out of there. And they did it. And I don't blame him for that. I blame the team. Y'all traded for a guy that y'all didn't want. Y'all just want to get rid of Tobias. Y'all don't want to pay him no more. Now y'all got all these young players. Y'all want to give them minutes. I don't see the issue. But ultimately, if Blake had went to the Lakers, this wouldn't have been a problem. If Drummond had went to the Celtics, this wouldn't have been a problem. If LaMarcus had went to the Heat, the only reason why people are mad is because it's the Brooklyn Nets. And ultimately, they may not even win. Like the league is crazy. Like, you never know. Like, they can stack up all this talent and lose in the second round. Like, we never know.
Katie still hadn't touched. She ain't touched a court in months.
Exactly. Like, we haven't even seen this entire roster together. What? Like, we seen Katie, Kyrie, Harden play, 2 games together, if that?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
So what's the problem?
The problem is, go ahead.
Honestly, I dislike the Lakers signing a little bit more than the Nets.
Yeah.
That's not the way I feel about it, but
because my whole thing is, if the Lakers had gotten Blake and Drummond, the majority of the media would have been saying, "Oh, this is great, this is amazing, repeat on the way, they're stacking up to beat the Nets, this, that, and the third." But since the Nets got him this OV36, and y'all trying to beat this old man, y'all joining and banding together to stop his greatness and legacy. Like, it's basketball. Either you gonna play or you not gonna play. It is what it is.
I'm gonna tell you what, the Aldridge thing caught me by surprise. I was almost certain that he was going to the Heat because the Heat had a void at the power forward position. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. He's gonna go to Miami and he's gonna be hooping in Miami. He gonna, after hooping in Portland, after hooping in San Antonio, LaMarcus Aldridge gonna have a blast in Miami. He said, "Fuck that! I want to win a championship." And I ain't gonna lie to you. If the Nets get healthy, they are going to be, which is a big if. They're going to be the best team in basketball, in my opinion. The parts don't seem just like, they don't sound on paper. They don't look like they go together because now you just added you added 2 power forwards, LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, to a team that don't really have a center. Don't really have defensive wings. Like, they don't address the things we've been saying the Nets need. They have not added.
They didn't address it.
No, they didn't. They just added more talent, and I guess they're just thinking like, the more talent, the better. We're going to beat teams by out talenting them, and that's
why I don't understand why people are upset. It's not a it's a lot of talent, but it's not a well constructed team. Why is everybody scared? Why is everybody upset?
And it's also counting on like Blake Griffin. Like, Blake Griffin got bought out for a reason. Like, he was not playing well before he got bought out.
Don't do that.
He was averaging like 12 points. My guy, shooting below 40% for a power forward. He was
playing with 30 power forwards.
That should not have had him looking like that. Not like that. Like, if he was still like very good, it shouldn't have him looking like that. But the fact is he always hurt. Like, Blake Griffin, since he was a Clipper, has been hurt every year at the end of the year. So, like, the fact that they're worried about a guy like that signed to the Nets, LaMarcus Aldridge, who has been kind of bad. He's still a serviceable player, but he hasn't been great. Like, he hasn't been that much of a floor raiser for the Spurs. Yeah. The fact that the Spurs felt comfortable letting him go means that, like, you can't be mad that the team signed those 2 guys. Like Delon said, Drummond to me seems like he could be he can make a bigger imprint on the title chances. But even then, like, Drummond got released for a reason. Like, he was a guy who was making $28 million. They let him go for a reason. Like, I don't, like, somebody mentioned like Drummond got traded for like a 2nd round pick and a player that the Pistons didn't even keep because his value was that low. Nobody wants him. So you can't be mad because he went there. But, like, I think it's more so people are upset that like larger market teams are getting those guys. But like that's how it always has been, and nobody ever cared.
I mean, majority. They wanted Drummond to go to Utah?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Because like you said, he would either went to the Celtics or he went to the Heat, and people would not have breathed a word about this. So you're right. I think it's all about, people mad because it's for the Nets. That's why. That's
all it is. I'm telling you, that's all it is. If Drummond had went to any other, not Drummond, if Blake and LaMarcus went to any other team as a duo, I don't think people would have cared like that.
If it had been a Clippers,
I would have. My thing is, 'cause I was thinking about ways how I would personally change it if I had the power. Honestly, my annoyance with it is just like the top heavy teams getting that super advantage. What I would do, it would depend on if that player qualifies for a Supermax or not, and that player's age. So, of course, NBA players have different restrictions on their contracts when they get like a certain age. Things like 35, 36. Let them do whatever the fuck they want to do. But if a player qualifies for a Supermax contract, so not if they demand that in the market, if they qualify for it, I would say you can't sign with a team that is top 3 seeding in a conference for 30 games after you sign them. And then the middle tier, 15 games after your buyout date. And then the bottom tier, 6 and down, whenever. Because I'll make it a little bit more fair. Because it's kind of like, I guess, a reverse waiver wire type deal.
Yeah.
To whereas the first teams on the waiver wire are the shittier teams. But yeah, I think that's the only way to give them that little bit of a disadvantage. Just prevent how much time they have to gel to be an even more perfect team. Maybe encourage them to go somewhere else and get paid in the meantime for a whole month or two.
Yeah, I know. But see, they had to get the agreement from the NBPA, the National, Players Union, to get that going. And the players aren't going to go for that because they're all thinking like, I could be in that situation, and I don't want that to happen to me.
Who is that really though? Who really qualifies for a Supermax? Who really would be in the top 3 seeds? It would be definitely like a conversation amongst the players association. But that ain't everybody. Just like no one's really fighting to get like the draft odds changed for them to get the first pick. Nobody wants to lose their job. Like they're not gonna be too passionate about that kind of stuff.
But I don't even know if players be this passionate about this because like this is the media complaining. I don't even know how players feel about this. Like I actually haven't really seen any usually like NBA players react to stuff. I actually ain't seen many people reacting to like Drummond.
I think Enes Kanter made a tweet about the Knicks.
Yeah, but like
he was like, "Oh, who next? Thanos, Jesus." I mean, but it's Kanter though. Like he always got to him though.
Y'all was giving 2 cents when we didn't ask for it. Yeah. You think you keep a lower profile? I never.
Except on defense.
But I don't think there's a real way to fix this. I don't think there's a need to really get into it and try to like tinker it. Like Corey said, the Miami Heat. Like I remember Miami Heat was getting seemingly every bought out veteran. Like every guy who was tired of playing for their team went to the Heat. Like it was like foregone conclusion. They going straight to the Heat. I remember that, and I remember having a problem with that then. But that's just the nature of the NBA. That's how it's always been. Maybe teams need to do a better job of managing their assets. So like
there we go.
That wouldn't happen like, with Drummond. Like what happened, the Drummond situation should never happen. They should have been traded him or whatever. Or they could have always kept him. Like teams could fuck it. Like just keep the guy on your roster. Just keep him on. You don't want him in the buyout market, just keep that nigga on your roster.
Look at it this way. Blake could have been traded in the past 2 years. LaMarcus could have been traded in the past 2 years. Drummond could have been traded for something better in the past 2 years. And 2 of these players came from the same team. So we got to keep this in mind. This isn't like a major league issue. These are the teams being incompetent and not striking while the iron is hot.
I think it was close to being a major league issue. I think 2 months ago, James Harden would have made his way to the Nets like this, what y'all said.
Let's see.
Because he was not playing. He was not playing. It was damn near a buyout there because he was just not showing.
But the buyout rules.
Was 2 other teams that could have had him, and they folded. They didn't make the trade.
But to your point, the buyout rules would have kept him from leaving because he made too much money. Like there are some buyout rules in place. Like a guy like James Harden who had like 3 years left in his contract, he could not be bought out. Like it's not possible for that to happen. I thought that was kind of going to be the case. Who was it? I thought somebody got bought out. I thought they had like 2 years in the contract and they still got bought out. Oh, Blake. Like I thought maybe it's more so like guys shouldn't, maybe they got to be in their last year of their contract. Like they have to be in their last year of their contract. They can't even have like a player option in that second year. Like it has to be their last year of their contract for them to get bought out. Because I think Blake Griffin got bought out 2 years in advance. Maybe that's something you can put into place. Because also like there were some rumors that maybe like Blake Griffin had this plan all along to make himself look bad while he was in Detroit because he was actually working out with KD, Harden, and Kyrie during the summer.
Possibly.
So a lot of people think he might have been. A lot of people like he might have been playing possum on the Pistons, just getting himself bought out, and now he's on. That's why he didn't dunk. Because it's so weird that he didn't dunk for over a year, and now he dunks the first game as a net, just to kind of like.
I told y'all he could you and Jacquez, man. He ain't got it. I said, fail. Vince Carter was dunking at 40, and he like 6'6". I know Blake at least get a rim graze at 6'8".
But it's telling that he went almost a calendar year without dunking, and then he dunks like his first game as a net. So it was the fact that he just didn't care when he was at the Pistons.
He was in Detroit. What was the point of getting out the ground? Come on, man.
To win.
What? to win what?
A game. He a professional.
He carried them to the 8th seed and played hurt, and they ain't do nothing to repay that man.
Yeah, touche. But then again, he was hurt when they needed him most in typical Blake Griffin fashion.
I mean, because he had to carry them there, just like he did the Clippers when Chris Paul was sitting on the sideline in the middle of the season, and Blake had to put the team on his back so we can keep that 4th seed. Just Chris Paul to get hurt in the first 3 games of the playoff series. But we ain't gonna talk about that.
We're not gonna talk about it. So we'll
Talk
go.
about it.
And matter, but we
Talk
will.
about it.
What we will do is we will move on to the next topic. We're going to talk about the Migos. So a lot has happened in the past couple of weeks with the Migos.
A lot.
Quavo and Saweetie have split up, and a video showing Quavo and Saweetie fighting in an elevator has surfaced, causing a lot of people to grow upset with Quavo. Demanding more answers than we actually probably ever going to get about the situation. Apparently, Offset tried to rob Uzi. Corey, did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but like we've been hearing like the rumors for years that they weren't rocking with each other no more.
Yeah, but
yeah.
So that happened, and Offset and I think Cardi has split. Maybe I'm mistaken. Are they back together? I can't remember. It's hard to keep up with them too. But more, I don't really want to talk about. Well, Corey might want to. Corey might want to talk about Saweetie.
Oh, I'm in my messy bag. Oh God, yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna save what I want to ask till after Corey gets his spiel out. Corey, go ahead. What you got to say about Quavo and Saweetie?
Hey man, I just think it's interesting that for the past couple of months, all we've been hearing is Quavo and Saweetie. They goals. Y'all need to be like Quavo. Y'all need to do what Quavo doing. This, that, and the third. This was wrong with these men. They don't want to spoil and take care of their women no more. And what do we see when the veil has been lifted and the cover is shown? They just might be worse than us. They did
Mike.
all that talking about.
They know Mike Corey. They worse. They're worse than me.
They worse. Oh yeah, facts. I ain't doing that. But I just find it odd that the whole basis of people loving their relationship was because Quavo was buying her bags. And what we see today is them fighting over what? A bag. Not cheating, not fighting, not infidelity, a bag. The whole, I'm gonna say to man, the whole video crazy to me. Because did you see the shade room like cropped out the first 2 seconds of the video she was swinging on him?
I did not.
Bam. They had that man looking crazy. Like to me, the whole situation is wild, man. It looked like he was trying to leave with the bag. So she took the bag so he couldn't leave. And he threw her in the elevator to get the bag, then fell on her, then grabbed the bag and got up out of there. And then he looked up and saw the camera and was like, damn.
No, I saw that part.
He looked up and saw the camera and was like,
he looked dead into that camera.
You're like that.
Yeah, man. Oh, okay. I gotta ask you, what is with rappers in elevators? Like what is with like it was Young Boy, then it was Famous Dicks, Jay-Z and Salons, not Quavo. Like, what's up with all these domestic fights in hotels? Y'all can't go nowhere else to handle y'all business. It got to be in hotel lobbies and elevators.
I guess they just be on the move so often that stuff like this bleed over into their hotel space.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what it is. But I also thought you talking about like you mentioned like things that like people were like applauding for. Like Saweetie had like tweeted like getting gifts and stuff don't mean anything if you aren't treated correctly. And I thought like it kind of goes into what you were saying, Corey. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I don't want this ain't a relationship podcast.
I just find it interesting though. Like everybody was praising him because he was getting the girl the bag, and you see them on camera. It was a Birkin battle, the battle of the Birkins, man. I'm disgusted.
Corbin holding it in for a week now.
I have. I'd kept that in the chamber. Battle of the Birkins. Don't forget it.
So what I wanted to mention now that Corey has finally said what he wanted to say on this topic. I might make that title, Corey. That was actually very catchy.
Battle of the Birkins.
That's exactly what I said last night.
Battle of the Birkins.
That's exactly what I said.
Oh,
so, well, I found very interesting because the Migos.
Wait, the Teflon tussle.
All right, go on, Jordan. Go on, Jordan.
What I wanted to talk about was the Migos have released a snippet of a new single, and it was received very well. It sounds pretty good. Everybody seems to like it a lot, and it made me think to myself, like, wow, we haven't heard from the Migos in like over a year. Like, I think Culture 2 came out in 2019. Yeah, 2019. I think Culture 2 came out in 2019. 2020. I think the most recent project from any of them was.
Don't mention it. Don't mention it.
I think it
Don't
was.
mention them solo albums.
It was a solo album that came out in like January. So this is probably like the longest stretch we've gone without a project from the Migos in a long time. And one question that like a lot of people said was, can the Migos keep themselves relevant without releasing music all the time? Because you know, it's a lot of times that like people like those trap artists, guys who release music every other day, they're like they got to do that stuff to keep themselves relevant. But impressively enough, it seems like the Migos have kept their name in people's mouths. And now we're here. It's time for them to release music again.
Yeah.
Guys, how did the Migos accomplish this?
Cardi B and Saweetie.
Fighting and cheating.
Cardi B and
Those two
Saweetie.
things, respectfully. Fighting and
Hey,
cheating.
when's the last time you heard about a takeoff verse?
Facts. Hey, man.
Is he
Hey,
Cardi B and
man.
Saweetie?
Hey, last time I heard the takeoff, it wasn't good, but we ain't gonna get into that. Allegedly.
So this just confirms that Saweetie has the best PR team in America. Karen,
Wait, and
Karen the third, the Migos, and her.
Wait, and speaking of Saweetie in her PR team, I just want to throw this out here. I find it odd that she do the interview, everybody looking at her funny. Quavo leaves her, then the next day we hear, hey man, Saweetie, she's suffering PTSD because she went on Hot 97 and they call her freestyle basic. Then the day after that, the old video of them fighting in the elevator come out. That team putting in overtime. Salute to them. They going crazy.
Isn't it funny how Takeoff is the Migos that's been in the least public trouble? He's the youngest one.
I know. Obviously, y'all remember he had that rape allegation like a couple months ago. Don't forget that.
A couple months ago, I actually did not know that.
Yeah, they can't.
Never mind.
Was that his? I hope
Migos out here cheating, beating, and I don't want to make a rap the last one. But
I started laughing when you said, "When's the last time you heard a takeoff verse?" I was like, "Hey man, last time I heard a takeoff, it was not good."
Yeah, we might have to skip Culture 3. We might skip that.
It's like QC told like Takeoff, you gotta do something, man. You gotta get your name out there. He took that the wrong way.
Man, put them niggas on ice.
No pun intended.
Cheating and fighting has kept them in the social media landscape.
Oh, Glacier Boy. Oh, all right. Not shout out to the Migos. Oh, we joke.
I'm Saweetie though.
Yeah, shout out to Saweetie though. Shout out to Saweetie. Also shout out to Cardi. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got on this. I don't want to talk about this anymore. So let's go back to basketball. Speaking of broken promises and unfulfilled relationships, JJ Redick was traded to the Dallas Mavericks.
Cold.
Why does that matter? What's so significant about a 17-year vet getting traded to a playoff contender from a team that wasn't good at really good that good? Well, JJ Redick wanted to go to the Nets, so he was expecting to get bought out or traded there so that he could go play there. He said it was more so a family thing, like he wanted to be closer to his he wanted to go to the Northeast. He wanted to be closer to his wife and child. That's why he wanted to go there. And he said that he expressed those concerns to to David Griffin back in November. Like he was like, I don't want to be here. Can you buy me out? Can you trade me? Can you get me closer to my family? He said David Griffin promised that he would do what he could to get him in a better situation. Lo and behold, he's now traded to the Mavericks, and he is unhappy, saying that he didn't want to be here. Guys, who's to blame here? JJ Redick, David Griffin, or the system?
Would JJ Redick be upset if he was on the Knicks? Like he would have got traded to the Knicks?
Yeah, probably.
That's a very good question. Honestly, and I think it's so interesting because, like, what about the Celtics? They're in the Northeast. Like, it's a lot of teams it's a couple of teams in the Northeast. But he said it wasn't about playing for the Nets. I just want to be close to my family. I call Cap.
Yeah, Cap.
I call Cap.
Hey, man, everybody's wrong. Everybody's right.
I mean, me personally, I do blame David Griffin for lying to him, but at the same time, like, you was in Philly. You in Philadelphia. That was in the Northeast, and then you just woke up and was like, oh, I'm going to go to New Orleans for some odd reason. I still don't understand why that move happened to this day.
Yeah, and like he didn't have to sign there. Like that team wasn't going anywhere at that time. Like there was no indication that they were going to be like a perennial playoff team. So it just didn't make sense. Also, like I said back in November, he said, "Yeah, we're gonna do what we can," but the team always work in the best interest of themselves. Like that's just how David Griffin's job works. If he makes a bad move,
Trading to the Mavs is nasty though. He could at least.
You know the Mavs wanted it. Come on now, another white boy. Come on now, you know Mark and Co.
Yeah. The Mavericks are a good
European axis.
They are a good player. They're a better team than he's on. Like he got traded to a better team.
Damn. He said, send me to the northeast. They sent him further west. That's the problem. Bro, they could at least send it to Miami or somewhere. Like they could have sent it somewhere in the east. At least Indiana. You sent that man to Texas. He said, bro, my family in the northeast, COVID going on. I can't see my folks, and y'all send me further east. Now we gonna send to Texas. And you down the street from Mexico. It's tough.
There's just so much like I don't know the context of the conversation. I don't know the depths of the promises that he made, but the likelihood of like everybody getting a buyout not going to happen. Trading, he could have just done all that he could do. The Nets could have just been like, or the Nets could have been like, we want this, and that. Like I doubt at any point like I'm trying to do you a solid. I'm just not going to get like a 5 years later second round pick for JJ Redick. Like you're going where like you got to go. But I mean, on his side too, you know, stop signing 3-year deals. Yeah. Like on his side, I wish he got where he goes. Not mad at him, but I don't think anybody was wrong in this situation. That nigga's not your friend.
Should this serve as a warning to like Zion, Brandon Ingram, and to any prospective free agent who decides to sign?
Not to trust David Griffin.
Not to trust David Griffin. Yeah, not to trust the Pelicans organization. Is this something that should be in the back of their heads from now on?
Absolutely. And I'm gonna say no more reason why. They ain't even getting nothing. they ain't getting nothing fired to trade or nothing. Like they ain't get like Maxi Cleveland, nobody like it. What they got like a rookie in the second round pick?
That's actually a good question, Corey.
They ain't gonna get no minutes.
Let me check exactly what they got in the JJ Redick trade. DeLon, what do you think? Should guys like Zion be upset about what happened?
I think everyone in the NBA should not trust any of their GMs. I don't know why they would. Also, like that man's literal job hangs on the balance of if that person isn't working out, get something that does work out, and get the best that you can do for that. So, like, you are an asset to that, especially that specific person. Your relationship with the coach, that's a whole different thing. But your relationship to the GM, you are an asset to him for him to keep his job.
Absolutely. So that's why I don't really fault David Griffin. The only thing you can fault for him is if he lied and wasn't honest and went straight up with JJ Redick. That's the only thing you can like really be upset about with him. But the job and of moving him and like even then, like what David Griffin said in November, things changed. Like it might have been more pressure on him for his own job's sake to get JJ Redick somewhere that actually benefits the team. Like the front office like says like you better not cut JJ Redick for nothing. You better get something for him, or that's your job. And, you know, in that case, he's like, okay, I'm gonna honor my promise. I'm gonna cut JJ Redick, let him go to the Nets, let them become a better team at the expense of my own profession. Like.
And like, it's weird because like, if what Cord said was assets from the Mavericks, and it was obviously like a big salary dump in there, so that can be applauded from the Pelicans organization. But like at the same time, like I don't think it was like some evil lie thing because I just don't see why GMs, besides them just being cowards, have any initiative to lie about that kind of stuff. Hey, I would really like to go to the Nets. Can you trade to the Nets? No. That's all. Like after that, there's not shit you can say about it. Like I don't see why I would just straight up lie. So I assume it had to be like circumstance change, or he's just a diabolical nigga. Either one could be true.
I think it's a circumstance change because if Redick said he told Dave Griffin that in November, he's still on the team in damn April. He should have known that things have changed. He should have known like things are definitely different because it's been like 4 months. A lot of things can happen in 4 months. The team isn't as good as they thought they were going to be in 4 months. So.
The niggas might just not want JJ Redick. And niggas, especially Brooklyn,
man,
want defense. Like they need defense.
Okay, now don't get me wrong. The Nets saying no makes all the sense in the world because you got Joe Harris and Landry Shamet. But the Knicks, man, you got the Knicks, the Celtics, the Sixers, the Pacers.
But did he say that? We've only heard like his Stone Cold side of the story. We've only heard what he said.
The only way this don't make sense is if JJ Redick lied and he didn't mention to them that he wanted to go to the Northeast. Maybe he specifically said Brooklyn, and they was just like, "Oh, we just gonna trade him anywhere." Then he came out and was like, "Oh, I want to go to the North.
I want to be next to my family."
Yeah. Now, if he did it that way, then yeah, David Griffin was absolutely in the right. But if he told them I want to go to the East Coast and you trade him further west, he's a monster.
But even then, like, you know, if he said this, I'm gonna do the best I can, and if the best was sending him to the Mavericks, then he didn't technically lie. You know what I'm saying? If he said, "I'm going to make sure you reunited with your family," on some, he's on some shit like that. If he said that, then David Griffin's 100% in the wrong. But David Griffin said, "I'm gonna do my best." Yeah. That's not technically not a lie. It's technically not a lie.
Unless
don't get real with you. He made it worse.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. Like somebody said, David Griffin's problem is he should have never made that promise, or even said he'd do his best. Like he said, JJ Redick's not a player you make promises to.
Yeah, you got to hit him with the "I think about it."
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Bet.
Because he's under contract.
See my family again.
Because he's under contract. Like, there ain't nothing you can do. Ain't nothing else you can do about that. Like, ain't nothing he can do about it. No, honestly.
Go to the store. Don't go to New Orleans.
That's a lot. That's a lot of people fall there already, Cord.
Thanks.
All right. In the more scandalous news, Deshaun Watson situation seems to be spiraling. At this point, I don't even have all the facts anymore. So I don't know what is the facts, because a different side, every side keeps presenting something new. Sides are withholding information. If you aren't familiar with the situation, Deshaun Watson, NFL quarterback for the Texans, requested a trade a couple of months ago, saying he didn't want to be there anymore. Since then, upwards of 20 plus women have come out and said they have been sexually assaulted in some form or manner by him. Strangely enough, a lot of those women happen to be masseuses. I think some masseuses have actually come out and defended him on their end as well. Some of the stories are starting to leak as to what he was doing in these encounters, including thrusting the air while receiving massages, ejaculating while receiving massages,
damn,
and just a bunch of other weird and creepy things in the presence of these women. To be honest with you, I don't even. Guys, do you have any insight on this situation? What is happening?
I'm gonna keep real with you. I don't say this often. I gotta wait till the end of this situation. I don't know, because I'm gonna keep real with you. Usually when somebody get accused, I be like, man, he guilty. When I first saw this, I said, nah, bro, it's a conspiracy. Then 2 days and 20 women later, I was like, dog, I don't know. I gotta wait. Man. Some charges gotta drop. I ain't got no strong opinion on this. I don't know, bro. Cause like the lawyer was the next door neighbor of the owner of the team, and the owner of the team was like, "You ain't going nowhere." But when you got 20 masseuses, is that even how you say it? Masseuses, multiple masseuses. I don't know, however you call it. When you got that many, he got to be some. Then like they went and found the old tweets of, "Oh, I just got massaged in the back of the gym before a game." He had like Mia Khalifa dunking on him at the crib with a maid outfit on. I know he a horn dog.
We're not blamed for that one. We're not blamed for that one.
I don't know, man.
We see what time he be on though, DeLon. That's I think.
We see what be happening in the household.
Yeah.
Man, my thing is, man. So the timing is incredibly suspicious, but just because the timing is suspicious does not mean it is incorrect. A lot of things can be true, or could have just been his time. My thing is, I don't understand. Like, I get the whole conspiracy thing. A little bit of me is like, but I'm gonna,
Yeah.
My thing is, how would it benefit the Texans?
Well,
man, the only thing that makes sense to me is we go ruin you to where you ain't got no choice but to stay.
But they can't keep him. If this goes. if any of this is true, or this makes him look too bad to where he can't demand a trade anywhere else, the Texans will have to get rid of him. Like, or they're the bad guy.
Yeah, and then they lose assets. So where you could trade Deshaun Watson for shit, now you're gonna have to just not play Deshaun Watson for anything.
Maybe the owner of this team is in his Tillman Fertitta bag. Maybe it ain't about the assets of the players.
It's to make a point.
Hey, bro, it's something about the owners in Houston. I don't trust neither one of them.
Man, I remember, I think it was Kyle Van Noy, like in 2015, told Bill Belichick, "Hey, I'm sitting out. I either want to get traded or you give me a new contract." Belichick said, "Bet." Traded him to the 0-8 Browns. Listen, man, these people would do it. Got back like a second round pick.
Just to prove a point. Just
to prove a point. So I can see that happening. I just don't see how it would benefit the Texans in any way, because they either have to get rid of him under public pressure. I've never seen it. Well, in the last 5 years, since social justice and all that kind of stuff has been like a super big thing on the business side of things, I've not seen a team just say, "Fuck it, we care about winning more than we care about perception."
Yeah.
This might be the first time. If it happens here, this might be the first time, unless the league,
especially in the NFL.
Unless the league gets him out of here, this would be wild.
I mean, you also talk about benefits. Like, if this was a conspiracy, we're not saying that. Listeners, we're not saying that this was all manufactured by the Texans, but we're saying if it was, the benefit here would be that players wouldn't try them again, and players on other teams wouldn't try their owners, and they think that something like this could happen. Which is something I thought about too, because it's like you talk about the timing and how suspicious it is. And I agree with that. It's so weird that all this happens shortly after.
Like right after.
Yeah, after he demands his trade. So it's, in my mind, it's one or two things. It's one or three things. One, it's just a super freak coincidence, or the team is purposely sabotaging him.
Super freak coincidence.
Yeah. It's a lot of titles, potential title names in here. So it was either coincidence. It was either the front office wants to damage his career, and they're making all this up, and they're using coincidental instances, and like they're pulling like, Deshaun used to go to masseuse all the time. It's like we can use this against him, or he has been a creep, like Cord said, this entire time, and the front office knew and had been hiding it, and like these women have been reporting it all this time to the team, and they had been keeping them under their thumb. And now that when Deshaun said, "I want to go," they said, "Well, we're going to just let all these women that we've been sweeping under the rug, we're going to just let them come and attack
the floodgates."
Yeah, and which all three of these are disgusting for the simple fact that if he's a creep, and the fact that the organization like the Texans would hide this just for their benefit, the fact that they would cover all this up, or the fact that they would purposely damage somebody's career that didn't do any of these things and isn't guilty of anything, whichever one it is. It's horrific. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey man, NFL so crazy. NFL so crazy. It might be all three. I ain't gonna hold you. The NFL just that wild.
I would have traded his ass first, and then I just don't get it how it can be from the Texans.
I agree, DeLon, because like they could have easily traded him, got maximum return on him, and then these stories could have came out. Like, I don't see why they did. Like, if it was a team, I don't see why they didn't.
They could protect themselves by trading them, saying, "Yeah, we have to trade them because of character issues." And then if it would have happened to come up a year later, boom, hey, blah blah blah. Like, I think Deshaun might just be out here, and I hate to say it, but I think I've realized over the last 5 minutes, I think Deshaun might just be out here.
Yeah.
No accusations. I hope he's not.
Hashtag Deshaun was trying to buy the Texans. he was trying to buy the Texans. That's what happened. They got him up out of there.
All right.
Black man, move away from Texas. It's not the haven you think it is.
Oh, don't go to Texas?
Just don't go to Texas at all.
Don't go to Texas.
Or Louisiana.
Speaking of another black man who's been under fire, Rappaport. What's Rappaport's first name?
What? Oh, okay.
What's Rappaport's first name?
Oh, crap. Michael
Rappaport took to the TL to show his DMs. He showed his DMs to everyone to show that Kevin Durant had DM'd him and call him a lot of things I will not repeat on this podcast because they're all
They
pretty.
pay Stephen. I was playing.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. There's some pretty offensive things he called Rappaport. Rappaport originally was called. He said something about. He commented something about KD not being good or something like that. And KD flat out attacked him in the DMs. Then Rappaport snitched. The NBA has now fined KD $50,000 for his interaction with the celebrity. Guys, how much did you love KD dunking on Rappaport?
I ain't gonna hold you. I've been critical of KD for a very long time. But KD has, also when he shot over LeBron, he done proved to me he a real one, and he one of my GOATs now. He in my top 5 GOATs right now. Just off that alone. Not because of rings, not because of hooping, not because of points on the board, because he put Rappaport in a blender, and I loved it. Michael, and the crazy thing is, I really wish it was LeBron, because Michael he don't even talk about KD that much. He used to be on LeBron dick. He said one small comment about KD. He said, nah, bro, you should have said something about Barkley. And KD said, nah, I'm finna say something about you. I gotta respect it. Then he tried to sue. He was like, oh, I'm gonna sue him. This, that, and the third. Then the message that he sent his lawyer that he showed on Twitter was edited because he deleted all his comments. Then when everybody was like, oh, you shook, you scared, and he was like, oh, this what I told KD. So you was talking spicy back. So why is it so like, why is KD getting fined? That's my thing. 2 grown men can't have an argument without your job coming in and saying, oh, you can't say that. If 2 players go on the court and they scream at each other, they gonna get a tech in their Z. But he getting a man DM and say, meet up with me, we finna solve this. He gotta get fined. This don't make sense. They treat this man like he Myers Leonard or somebody, like he Donna Sturgeon or somebody. All he said was, you be talking crazy. You gotta show this.
Nah. I ain't gonna let you do that. Man. It makes sense.
I expanded, Lon.
I wanted to pause. I didn't know if Core was on the phone or not. It looks like somebody calling him.
Oh, okay. Let me write this in my notes.
Yeah, I hear me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Okay, so back on your head, Cord. It makes sense. Cord, as KD being such a representative of the league, you can't have a top 10 player calling somebody a stupid dick suck. You can't do it, and that you can't. That is offensive to a certain group of people. Just like what Myers Leonard said.
Man.
To what degree? I'm not here to debate the degrees. What I do know is that became a very public thing, and there's clauses in contracts, and there are clauses and conditions on getting paid that says you are a representative of the league, and if you bring bad press into the league, they have a right to do this. You calling somebody a dick sucker, a cock sucker, a blah blah blah, blah blah blah.
Hey, man.
Is a problem. Now, hey, I have been one of the biggest fans and proponents of KD's sassy arc, because we all remember the OG KD where he was like, low key sassy, where his most bold outburst came in just defending Russell Westbrook, defending himself. I like bold KD, I like him at niggas on Twitter for no reason.
Facts.
Too far, man. Too far. I think he just got a little too comfortable with that. Hey, I'm not the one to tell a man who makes millions of dollars what to say or what to do. I'm just saying, can't be blamed. Michael Rappaport is just as, if not more wrong, especially as he is also an employee of a basketball association. I'm sure the Big Three, huh? He got fired from that?
I don't know, my fault. I'm thinking about the Rangers. My fault.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Big Three. Like, I don't think those people especially will respect that. I don't know how much Gary Payton's looking at that like, oh, that was a false move, Mike. But yeah,
Mobley don't rock with him.
That those clips are funny. That clip of him interacting with him, yeah. But anywho, they're both in the wrong. KD deserved a fine. How much? I don't know.
Hey man,
the
league does not respect free speech, and I don't like it. They
shouldn't. They should not.
Rappaport, I wonder if he really understood the irony and him having the Tekashi meme and then telling
exactly.
Like I hope he got the irony and that's why he did it, which I know that's not why he did it. But I hope he understood.
No. He had that for like a year and some change.
I hope he at least understands the irony of what he did while having that Abby. Like,
Listen,
okay. Wait.
I feel it. I feel it though. Hold on. Anecdote. So a couple months ago, I took my little stepbrother to one of his campus visits. He was kind of, when we talked to the recruiter, he was a little mild and timid. So I got on the phone with my mom and his dad. I was like, ha 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 ha. Junior was all quiet when he was up there telling a joke. Just a little fun snitching. They started yelling at him like, whoa! I know this is gonna happen.
Damn.
So I kind of feel in that regard, like, dang, I didn't know it was gonna be like that. But again, you should have put the DMs out, Mike. It's pussy.
It's between two grown men. Why you trying to drag everybody else into it?
This is my problem, though. This is my problem. Michael Rappaport's entire persona for the past 20 years is, I'm from New York. I talk crazy. I argue with the best of them. I don't back down from nobody. I'm going to say this. Y'all know this. Any movie he play in, any TV show he play in, anytime he go on a sports show, he yelling, he screaming, he talking crazy. And in the one time somebody asks him to stand on it, he go and tell the world.
You find it, it's 7-foot giant. I kind of understand a little bit.
And I mean, this is my thing. He got to respond. Okay, this is my problem though. If KD DM you and you don't want to respond, don't respond. He went in the DMs and was talking crazy to KD. So when it escalated and KD was like, "Now you got to meet me," then you go, "I'm finna call my lawyer." Cool. If you was gonna call your lawyer, you shouldn't have responded at all. The moment KD hopped in the DM and said what he said, you should have sent that on out to the lawyer from the rip. But you waited until you escalated it, and KD got even more infuriated that you want to turn into the victim. I don't know, man.
Corey, I slightly unrelated to this. Would you fight? Do you feel like you could beat Kevin Durant with a bad Achilles in a fight?
Hey, man, I'm going straight for the league. I'm doing the same thing I told y'all I do the bowl. I'm going for the league. Even if I lose that fight, I'm making sure he ain't never hooping a day in his life. We both losing something. Salute to
KD. You about to be talking spicy in the popular demand DMs, man. Y'all better calm down.
You know I'm suing off the rip. I need another stimmy.
You know when I post like the tweet and I put like the thing we talk about like KD, like I put like little footnotes like when we talked about on the tweet. I can't add KD name. I gotta put something else there.
You can't put KD.
Cash Dog gonna be hitting us up about being confused as hell, but
Yeah, it's facts. Why you dissing me?
I ain't say nothing to Michael Rappaport. This dog.
Oh man.
All he had to do was not respond.
All right, guys. That's all I got for this episode. You guys have any closing thoughts?
Hey man, Tesla Tuffle, Battle of the Birkins. Y'all know what time it is. Quarterback in his bag. Bag joke. There's another bag joke right there.
Do the bag dance.
I'm in my duffel.
You got anything to law?
2019 through 2021, here, now, forever, every week, every occasion, fuck the Migos. Validated every month. Some new always pops up. It's been fuck the Migos. It's still fuck the Migos, and it will be fuck the Migos.
All right.
Also, you think they done out here?
No.
You think it's a nail in the coffin?
No.
Nah, because of the basis they serve, the audience they serve, I will say.
Oh no, man. I'm gonna keep real, y'all. I think Lil Baby took that.
We're gonna see. I don't think they're done though. Like people seem pretty excited about the snippet, so I think they're gonna be straight. Maybe not as big, but they're gonna be straight.
Yeah. Salute the QC though.
But all right, thank you all for tuning into another episode of Popular Man Podcast. Tune in next week for another episode of your favorite podcast. See you then.